I just really enjoyed the social messages behind it. I mean, to me, it just kind of shouted out with a megaphone that, like, if you're a young black man, living in America, no matter what you do, the odds are stacked against you.
So, another film review for Boys on Film and the BFI Flare 2021 Festival. The Obituary of Tunde Johnson today. It's directed by Ali LeRoi. It's a debut feature for him, actually. It's written by, I think, a 19-year-old student from USC, which is Stanley Kalu. And it's a real mixture of genres. It's kind of drama, thriller, teen romance. It's all in there. It's quite loaded. And I just have to quickly start by saying that Jeremy, my other half, was talking to him about this, and he called it Groundhog Gay. Crashy cymbals.
I see what he's done there. So I think you've touched on it. It's like a genre-bending film. It follows the life of Baba Tunde, who is a queer Nigerian American. His time loop story, because very early on in the film he gets gunned down by the LA police, and then he reawakens. And so Groundhog Gay is a little bit of a reach, but it's basically his story as he experiences and re-experiences the same day of his life and plays it out in slightly different ways. But for many of the situations, he has the same outcome. Interesting movie.
It is a really interesting movie. There's so many factors of it that made me think about stuff as well, because you've got so many elements. Obviously, he's a wealthy Nigerian American teen pulled over by white police. There's problems, and it echoes so much of what we see in the news. So it's very timely, I think. But the thread of the story, it's because it's repeating the same day, but with different situations. That again is quite interesting, and it always makes you feel like you want to watch more just to find out what's going to happen. I think maybe sometimes that can become a little bit frustrating, and also quite not jarring, but because it's not an easy watch, some of it. I mean, particularly near the end, there's some quite upsetting scenes that do remind you of things that have happened in the news in real life. But for that reason, I think it's a really important film, because it does make people think.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the whole concept of a Groundhog Day film or a Happy Death Day film, although I enjoy it as guilty pleasures, I was kind of like, I don't know about this, if we're going to put a gay twist on it and add a few more layers. But throwing all that aside, I just really enjoyed the social messages behind it. I mean, to me, it just kind of shouted out with a megaphone that, like, if you're a young black man, living in America, no matter what you do, the odds are stacked against you. So out of like maybe the 20 times he woke up and lived his day, it hardly ever did not end in getting gunned down. That's what kind of stuck out for me, is like, for some people, the cards are just stacked against them. And, we got to do what we need to do as a society to help knock those odds off the table.
Yeah, I have to agree, Raj. I mean, that's one of the things I took away, which is kind of like this myriad of issues: oppression, persecution, racism, and obviously the way the story plays out. Not to give too much away, the endings are not always the same with regards to the way that it's delivered, but the outcome is always the same. But there are different situations. So yeah, I think it did a really good job of doing that. There were a few moments that jarred against me. My usual line, which is that could have been 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah, me too. I thought that.
I'm going to apply it here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was a bit like, it could have been tightened up. I'm not saying the message, but I am saying the production could have been tightened up with regards to time. And then there were a couple of moments earlier that I thought were quite jarring, and it's just small things that. There's a bit where the girls arrive really early on, and suddenly it turns into Mean Girls.
Yeah, it's very like soap opera, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was a bit like, and then it flipped back into something quite real, where Tunde and Soren are just kind of like smoking a bit of weed and hanging out on the beach, and it suddenly went back to the tone, and it felt this really weird thing that stood out and jarred for me. And I was like, if you remove that 5 seconds of footage, it would flow. There were just little things like that, which because of the tonality and the way the film flowed, they really stood out and have stuck in my brain, and they shouldn't, because they're kind of nothing, but there are elements like that kind of jarred against me, which I think takes away from what is a very, very important message.
I completely agree with you, Sean, because I think I could have done without the love triangle element of this story. But I'm just wondering if overwhelming the viewer was the whole point of the film, because you think about the lead character, the protagonist in this, he's not a threat. He's a really polite guy. He's obviously wealthy as well. He's got so much bad luck when it comes to how he's dealt with particularly by the police.
I actually didn't get lost in it at all. I thought it was kind of the perfect amount of pacing for me. Although you say you could cut 20 minutes out of it, I did find myself once during the movie going, oh, it's not over? Because I kind of just it started again at a point where I thought it could have been wrapped up nicely. But I appreciate that extra little nuance sometimes, as long as the film doesn't completely annoy me. I found the pacing to be okay. I wasn't put off by it. But,
he did seem quite laid back, though. I mean, he didn't seem bothered by the race issues stuff. I mean, what he was confronted by, he seemed to kind of be quite polite about that. I think a lot of people wouldn't be if they were in the same shoes.
He's been drilled into his head his whole life that that's to be expected. So, yeah. I mean, he kind of knew what to do from the very first moment he got pulled over by the police.
He is taking Xanax, quite a lot of Xanax, as an anti-anxiety drug. Is that skewing his perception? I thought that narrative was a little weak, but I did think, he's going to a primarily majority white prep school, and there's just casual racism left, right, and center that's happening in that situation. And you just think, is he self-medicating on Xanax as a way of just getting through his day and just being that person? I don't know the answer, but some of those narratives came through as I was watching it. No, I thought it was interesting, but yeah, I think it's a really powerful message and a great piece of work. For me, my only criticism would be if it was an hour 20 rather than an hour 44. I think it would have benefited, but that's just my own personal view.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Sean. It was a really powerful movie. I enjoyed it. There were problems with it, I thought, but again, I think it comes down to cutting those out, and I think it would have changed the tone of the film, and I think it would have been more powerful for that reason. It's a 3 for me, 3 stars.
It's a 4 for me. I really liked it. Give me the 20 minutes director's cut. You guys can have the theatrical version with the 20 minutes.
Don't make me mark it up, Raj. And then, it's a 3 for me.
Where are we going to go from here? Where can we go with BFI Flare coverage? My God, there's so much to cover. But we're enjoying it, right?
I'm going into a dark room and 2 paracetamol. That's what I'm doing.
I've done that already. I've been there.
You look like the sequin in the blue room today.
Oh yeah, I'm giving you hollow, empty-shelled Troye Sivan.
All those plastic curtains wafting by.
Yeah. I'm in some weird sex dungeon. That's right.
You heard it here first, everyone.
Don't quote me.
See you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more coverage. We're doing this over the next couple of weeks, so yeah, there's plenty more to come.